Hello, and thank you for tuning in and coming to practice with me. I'm so excited to do today's class with you. For class today, we're going to need 2 blocks, preferably 2, but if you only have 1, that's okay. If you don't have any yoga blocks, feel free to grab books or anything, again, that is similar to the shape. So once you have your props, you can feel free to sit on one of them so you're propped up a little bit higher, and then your knees are below your hips so that your hips can already start to open up, even when we're sitting down. You can go ahead and close your eyes. And take this moment to feel your breath. Where maybe your breath gets stuck and where's your breath a little bit more free-flowing. And send a little bit more love to the places where it feels a little tight with your breath. Take a few more moments here, breathing into the spaces that feel a little bit more constricted. And after your next full exhale, we'll blink our eyes open. And we'll start today in a child's pose. So if you're sitting on one of your props, you can set it off to your side. Bring your big toes to touch, your knees slightly wider than your waist. Sit your hips back to your heels, extend your arms straight out forward in front of you. Press down and forward with your hands. Wrap your elbows up to the ceiling and push your bum back to your heels. Feel breath all along your back and the sides of your waist. On your next inhale, prop up onto your fingertips so that you have a little bit of a dome shape underneath your palms. Walk your hands over to your right side. So you're taking a side bend. Let your hands be shoulders width distance apart. Press a little bit firmer into your left fingertips and root your outer left hip back. So you're making a C shape with your waist. Come all the way back in towards center. And then over to your left side. If your prop is there, you can move it off to your side, move it away. Again, let your hands be shoulders width distance apart for today. Press down into your finger pads. Root your right fingertips down and C-shape your right waist. So your right outer hip is moving a little bit towards the left. My head is floating off the floor, but if you like to put your forehead down, that's okay. Make your way back into center. Firm your palms down to your mat. Come onto your hands and your knees. Set your knees directly underneath your hips to a tabletop position. Inhale into cow pose. As you exhale, round your spine into cat. Inhale, ripple your spine out to cow. So let the movement be slow. Round your spine into cow. We'll do this one more time. Inhale for cow. Wrap your outer hips back and up to the ceiling. Exhale, press into your palms, round your spine into cat. Even press into your shins to help you dome your back even more. Inhale, back out to neutral spine. Walk your knees slightly forward to your wrists. You can move your shins out to one side to come to sit, or cross your ankles, roll back behind them to sit. Plant your feet down to the floor. Scoot yourself forward so you have some runway in the back of your mat. You're going to take one of your blocks, have them close by. Come to lay down on your back. Keep your left knee planted. Your left foot planted, rather. Bend your right knee. Hug your right thigh and leg, everything, into your chest. Let your belly press into your thigh as you breathe in. Exhale, breathe out. You're going to take the outer edge of your right foot, ankle, or knee, whatever you can grab. Take a half happy baby here. You can shift over to your right and left, rocking a little bit. Come back to center. Keep your knee bent for now. Interlace your hands at the base of your thigh, so as far down as you can go with both of your hands. As if you're stamping your foot up to the ceiling, lengthen out through your right leg. Flex your right foot as firmly as you can. Even without my right foot pressing against something, I feel a length in the back of my shin, where my calf is. Take your right hand, push your right thigh forward, and then resist your thigh back into your hand so you can grow taller in your leg. Rebend your right knee. Twist open or twist over to your left side. Extend your left leg out onto your mat. You're going to come maybe onto your right back, or left back. What I want you to do is come directly onto your left side. So your whole left side, your leg, and your waist and your shoulder, it's almost like you're on a balance beam. Extend your left arm straight out from your shoulder. And you can allow your knee to rest on your block. Extend your right foot as best as you can. You can shift that block so you have some support. Stack your right hand on top of your left. You can let your head reach down to the floor. We're in a letter F shape. We're going to keep everything on our body except for our right arm. Take a breath in, lift your right arm to the height of your shoulder. And as you exhale, move your right fingertips back above your head. And then you're going to roll open as best as you can without moving the rest of your body into an open T shape. Come all the way back upright. Close the twist. Do that a few more times, letting your arm move with you instead of your head moving first. Last time like this. This time, you're going to stay open into your twist. Press both feet away from you so you energize that through your legs. Maybe you can press into your right shoulder and turn a little bit more and open up your weight. Open up your back or twist open a little bit more. Just like you're pressing out through your feet, energize your fingertips away from the center of your chest. And slowly unwind all the way back to center, or all the way back to your letter F. Bend your right knee, roll back onto your back. Plant both feet, scooch yourself back to center. You're going to take your block and move it over to your right side. We're just going to go to our second side. So bend your left knee. Press your thigh as close as you can to your belly. Try to press your belly into your thigh on your inhale and exhale. Take a half happy baby. You can grab your ankle, shin, or knee, or outer edge of your left foot. Do a little rocking here. Your right knee can go with you as you move your thigh over to your left. Come back to center. Keep your knee bent. Interlace your hands at the base of your leg around the top of your thigh. As if you're stamping your left foot up to the ceiling, lengthen out through your left leg. So there's a muscular action happening, and I'm not just like jutting my knee forward, I'm pressing up. Bring your left toes closer to your nose as best you can. Take your left palm, press your left palm into your left thigh, and press your left thigh into your palm. So there's this push and pull happening. You might feel a release in your left hip and waist. And let that go. Bend your left knee, lengthen out through your right, take a twist. Come all the way onto your right side body. Lengthen out through your left leg. Support your leg with your block. Come all the way to your left side, so you're on your outer edge of your hip, your shoulder, your waist. Make a letter F with your body. Take a breath in here. You exhale, sweep your left arm up to your ear, to the wall behind you. Open up into your twist. Come all the way back. Let your gaze come with you naturally. Let your arm and your torso dictate the movement as opposed to your neck. And this last time, the third round, we'll open all the way up into the twist and stay. Flex through both of your feet, energize through your legs. Imagine that push and pull with your thigh earlier in your hand. Can heavy your right shoulder down, maybe open up a little bit more to your left. Energize your fingers away from center, just as you're energizing your feet away. Make your way back to your original letter F. Bend your left knee. Come all the way back onto your back. Center yourself. Hug your knees into your chest. Rock and roll on the length of your spine. Come all the way up to sit. Reset your blocks if you move them out. We'll make our way back into a downward facing dog. Inhale, come out to plank. Adjust your plank if you need, where your shoulders are stacked over your wrist. Feet are about hips width distance apart. And then re-lift your hips. You can always feel free to bend your knees if your hamstrings feel tight. Lift your right leg up into a down dog split. Step your right foot in between your hands, coming into a low lunge. Settle your left knee down directly underneath your left hip. Come up to stand. Grab your blocks if you have them on their highest height. Flex your right foot, meaning lift your right toes up to the ceiling, lengthen out through your right leg for a half split. Think about tugging or pulling your leg back into its hip socket. Extend the sides of your waist. Walk your blocks or your fingertips as far forward as you can. And we're going to keep this shape. All we're going to do, let me lift my left block so you can see. I'm going to turn my right hip out, so my right toes are going to go towards the right side of the room. Keep pushing my foot into an imaginary wall, but yet tug my right hip back. So there's that energetic push and pull. You might feel something all along the outside of your leg. I'm definitely feeling it. Turn your toes back up to the ceiling. Rebend your right knee, plant your right foot down to the floor. Shift your blocks. Actually, you can keep your blocks underneath your hands. Tuck your toes underneath you. Lift your left knee. Heel toe your right foot over to your left block and to the outside of your left hand. Lengthen out through your right leg. Swivel your right hip back and push your right big toe mound down to the ground. Similar sensation maybe, but maybe in slightly different places. As your right hip goes back, soften your left hip crease forward and extend through the sides of your waist. If your right big toe is coming off the floor, really do the best you can to squish your big toe mound down to the floor as if you were pressing down into a nice juicy gummy bear. Rebend your right knee. Hop your left foot to the outside or just behind you. Bend both of your knees. Come into a seated cross-legged. Cross-leg. Move your blocks aside. Tense your right fingertips behind you. Lift your left arm up. Take a breath in. As you exhale, turn from your waist first over to your right. Drop your left hand by your right toes. Inhale to lengthen, so we're using more of our waist than our arms. As you exhale, bend your elbows, turn your waist to the right side of the room. Keep squishing that gummy bear down with your right foot so your knees points upright. And slowly unwind on your exhale. Plant your palms underneath you, lift your hips. Step your left foot back into a low lunge and then step your right foot back. Inhale, come out, plank pose. Exhale, lower your knees. Shift your weight forward, bend your elbows straight back to lower your plank all the way down to the floor. Untuck your toes, widen your hands wider than max with distance apart, tension up onto your fingertips. Inhale, come up for a cobra pose. Exhale, lay yourself back down. Bring your hands back alongside your ribs, retuck your toes, push yourself back, downward dog. Lift your left leg. Step your left foot forward into a low lunge. Tap your right knee down underneath your right hip. Grab your blocks once again on their highest height. If you don't need your blocks, you can always tense your fingertips on the floor. Lengthen out through your left leg so you're actually sliding your left foot forward. Tug your outer left hip back as if you're pulling your left leg back into its hip socket. Keep your left toes pointed up to the ceiling for now. And from the top of your left hip, turn your left leg and your left toes open as best as you can to the left side of the room. I forgot to mention, if you do have just one block, you can always have your hand on that one, both hands on one block. And sometimes it's easier to have your hands on the inside versus the outside of the foot. Reposition your toes up to the ceiling. Bend your left knee, place your left foot down to the floor. Tuck your back toes underneath you, lift your right knee. Heel toe your left foot to your right block into the outside of your right hand. Lengthen out through both of your legs once again. Swivel your left hip back to the wall behind you and lengthen through the sides of your waist. Squish that gummy bear underneath your left big toe mound and keep picking your left outer hip up and move it back. It almost will feel that your hips are even and not twisting or opening over to your left at this point. So you have to lift your outer right hip too. Rebend your left knee. Hop your right foot forward. Bend both of your knees to come to sit. Move your blocks aside.
Push your left big toe down to have your left knee pointed straight up. Tense your left fingertips behind you. Lift your right arm. Take a breath in. Exhale, turn and twist from your waist. Place your right hand just around to the outside of your left foot. Inhale to lengthen. Softly bend your elbows. Exhale, turn from your waist, or your upper back rather. One last breath in. Exhale, slowly unwind back to center. Plant both hands down to your mat in front of you, prop up. Step your right foot back, step your left foot back, downward dog. Inhale, come out, plank pose. Exhale, lower your knees, shift your weight forward, bend your elbows straight back to lower your plank all the way down to the floor. Untuck your toes, bring your hands wider than that, with distance apart. Tent up onto your fingertips, heavy your legs down as you come up to cobra. Exhale, lay yourself back down. Bring your hands back alongside your ribs, reach up your toes, push yourself back, downward dog. Slowly take a stroll forward to the front of your mat, coming into a forward fold. Bend your knees. Keep your head heavy. Round yourself all the way up to stand. Tadasana, arms down by your side. Inhale your arms out to your sides and all the way up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Step your right foot back into a low lunge. Step your left foot back, downward dog. Inhale, come out, plank pose. Exhale, lower your knees. Shift your weight slightly forward, bend your elbows, chaturanga. Untuck your toes, pull yourself forward and up into upward facing dog. Exhale, come back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg. Step your right foot forward between your hands. Lift up onto your fingertips, straighten out through your right leg, bend your back knee, spring forward, forward fold. Inhale, tee your arms out to your sides, come all the way up. Exhale, fold back down, Uttanasana. Step your left foot back into a low lunge. Step your right foot back, downward dog. Inhale, come out, plank pose. Exhale, lower your knees. Shift forward, lower halfway, chaturanga. Untuck your toes, pull yourself forward and up, upward facing dog. Downward facing dog, breathing out. Lift your left leg. Step your left foot forward. Lift up onto your fingertips, straighten through your left leg, bend your right knee. Spring forward, forward fold. Inhale, tee your arms, lift all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Step your right foot back. Step your left foot back, down dog. Inhale, come out, plank pose. Option to keep your knees lifted this time, lower halfway for chaturanga. Untuck your toes, upward facing dog. Downward facing dog, breathing out. Lift your left leg. Step your left foot forward. Lift up onto your fingertips, straighten through your right leg, bend your left knee, spring forward. Inhale, tee your arms, come all the way up overhead. Exhale, swan dive back down. Step your left foot back. Step your right foot back, down dog. Inhale, come out, plank pose. Chaturanga, lower. Upward facing dog, breathing in. Downward facing dog, breathing out. Lift your left leg. Step your left foot forward. Lift up onto your fingertips, straighten through your left leg, bend your right knee, spring forward. Inhale your arms out and all the way up. Exhale, fold back down. Step your right foot back. Step your left foot back, down dog. Inhale, come out, plank pose. Exhale, lower halfway. Upward facing dog, breathing in. Downward facing dog, breathing out. Staying here for a few breaths. Bring your big toes to touch and a little bit forward. Lift up high onto your tiptoes on your breath in. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward, hop between your hands, forward fold. Lengthen your spine, breathing in, hands to your shins or thighs. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale your arms out and all the way up. Exhale, fold back down. Step your left foot back. Step your right foot back, down dog. Inhale, come out, plank pose. Exhale, lower halfway. Upward dog, breathing in. Downward facing dog, breathing out. Stay here for 2 more breaths. Bring your big toes to touch and a little forward. Lift up high onto your tiptoes as you bend your knees, look forward, hop between your hands, forward fold. Lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold back down. Inhale your arms out and all the way up. Tadasana, arms down by your side. With your big toes to touch, slight space between your heels. Bend your knees, sit your hips back for chair pose. Lengthen your legs, dive over, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen your spine, breathing in. Exhale, plant your palms, bend your knees. Either step, or hop back. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog, breathing out. Lift your right leg. Step your right foot forward. High lunge, lift both arms up. Bend your back knee so it's more or less underneath your left hip. Bring your arms straight forward in front of you. As if you imagine you're driving a car, your left hand is on the wheel. You need to find something in back of you in your back seat. So use your waist first. Start to turn open to your right. Let your arm come with you. When you can't twist anymore, take a breath in. And as you exhale, lower your right hand down behind your left thigh. Energize your left thigh up into your right hand. Push your left heel back into an imaginary wall. Reach your left fingertips up and back as well. Take a full breath in. As you exhale, pivot out into a warrior 2. Turn your back foot down, maybe heel toe back a little bit. Lengthen out through your right leg, lift both arms. Exhale, rebend, warrior 2. Flip your right palm, tip back into reverse warrior. Straighten out through your right leg, triangle pose. Grab your block if you need it. Low, medium, tall height. Turn your chest underneath you. Maybe look up at your top arm. Keep grounding to the outer edge of your back foot and firm your left thigh back as well. Sweep your left arm over your ear. Look down to the floor. Place both hands down. Step yourself back. Downward dog. Either stay in downward dog or inhale, come out to plank. Lower for chaturanga. Upward facing dog, breathing in. Downward facing dog, breathing out. Lift your left leg. Step your left foot forward. High lunge, lift both arms up. Bend your right knee, more or less to be underneath your right hip. Extend your arms straight forward in front of you. Imagine you're driving your car now with your right hand. You need to reach back behind you to get something in your back seat. So you're going to use your waist first, turn open to your left side. Let your arm follow with your waist. Once you can't twist anymore, sweep your left arm around, touch the back of your right leg, because that's what you needed to find. Push your right thigh into your left palm. Lift yourself all the way up. Warrior two, woo. Turn your back heel down. Maybe heel toe your back foot a little wider. Lengthen out through your left leg, lift both arms. Exhale, rebend, warrior two. Flip your left palm, tip back, reverse warrior. Lengthen out through your left leg. Extend your left waist forward for triangle pose. Grab your block if you need it. In addition to energizing your back leg down, think about plugging your left hip up into its hip socket and moving directly to the wall behind you instead of out to your side. Sweep your right arm over your ear, look down to the floor, frame your front foot with both hands, downward facing dog. Again, feel free to stay in downward dog, or inhale, come out to plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, breathing out. Lift your right leg, step your right foot forward, similar beginning, high lunge. Bend your back knee, extend your arms forward. You're driving your car now with your left hand. Reach and twist back. Lower your right hand down. Push your left thigh into your right hand. Reach back behind you. Warrior two. Lengthen out through your right leg, lift both arms. Rebend, warrior two. This time, dial your thumbs down to the floor. Sweep your arms back behind you, interlace your hands behind your back. Bend both of your elbows, come to the outer edge of your right hip with your knuckles or your right side of your back. Use your knuckles to press your thigh down and aim your right butt cheek straight back to the wall behind you instead of out to the side. Lean halfway forward as best as you can, as if you were coming into Parsvakonasana, side angle. Lengthen your knuckles straight back, lengthen out your arms, turn your chest underneath you. With your interlaced hands, stay. Turn your gaze, look down at the floor, lengthen out through your right leg. Keep extending the right side of your waist forward. Tee your arms out to your side, triangle pose. Take your left hand to your left hip. Look down to the floor, bend your right knee, maybe grab your block. Shift halfway forward with your left foot. Extend your right block forward and slightly out to your right side. Ardha Chandrasana. Lift your left hand up. Think about growing a little bit taller in your right ankle, as if you wanted to be, at least for me, 5'5". That's my dream height. Look down to the floor. A little different. We're going to bend our right knee. Settle your left foot back into warrior one. So you have to press your back heel down. Back foot is at 45 degrees. Lift your torso upright. Soften your left hip forward. Plug your right hip back to the wall behind you. Flip your palms, tee them out to the side, interlace your hands. Stretch your knuckles down your back leg, open up your chest. Devotional Warrior, knuckles come up to the ceiling as your head comes down. Another thing that we like to do is really stick our right hip out to the side to get our head down, closer to the floor. But instead of getting our head closer to the floor, I really want you to concentrate on using your right leg and your right hip. Wrap your outer right hip back to the wall behind you. Keep extending your knuckles up. A lot more work is happening in your front leg. Squish that gummy bear down with your right big toe mound. Lengthen halfway up. Release your hands. Place both hands down to the floor. Turn your back heel up. Lift your right leg up and back. Down dog split. Step your right foot halfway up your mat. Turn all 10 toes to face the right side of the room. Heels to the left. Modified side plank. Lift your right hand up. Bump your hips up to the ceiling so you feel some opening in your right side. Stretch your right arm over your ear. Turn your toes forward. Step back. Downward dog. Let me just take a full breath in here. Exhale, breathe out. Lift your left leg. Step your left foot forward. High lunge. Bend your back knee. Take the wheel of your car. Turn open to your left side. Use your waist more than your arm first. Lower your left hand down. Push your right thigh into your left hand. Reach up and back behind you. Warrior two. Lengthen out through your left leg. Lift both arms. Reach your arms out to your side as you come back for warrior two. Turn your thumbs down to the floor. Sweep your arms back behind you. Interlace your hands behind your back. Bend your elbows. Find the left side of your back or your left hip. Snuggle your knuckles if you can to the crease of your left hip. Press down with your knuckles. Drag your outer left hip back as you lean forward on a diagonal. Turn and open up your chest. Stretch your knuckles straight back, lengthening out your arms. Turn your gaze to the floor for balance. Lengthen out through your left leg. Triangle pose. Tee your arms. Left hand comes down, right arm comes up. Take your right hand to your right hip. Look down to the ground. Grab your block if you want to use it. Hop your back foot halfway up your mat. Take your block or your hand to the outside of your left foot and slightly forward. Lift your right leg up for Ardha Chandrasana. Lift up in your left ankle. Press down into your left foot. Look down to the floor. Warrior one. Soften your right hip forward. Pull your left hip straight back to the wall behind you. Tee your arms out to your side. Dial your thumbs down. Interlace your hands behind your back. Stretch your knuckles down. Lift your chest up. Devotional Warrior. Again, here, trying not to let our butt stick out. Really wrap your left hip underneath and back to the wall behind you. There might be a connection in your left waist or your left shoulder. Lift up halfway, unlace your hands, place them down to the floor. Turn your back toes or your back heel up. Lift your left leg up and back. Step halfway forward with your left foot. Turn all 10 toes to face the left, heels to your right. Lift your left arm up. Lift your hips even higher so you can feel a stretch and an opening in your left hip. Stretch your left arm over your ear. Look down to the floor, swivel your toes forward. Downward facing dog. Either stay or inhale, come out to plank. Exhale, lower halfway. Chaturanga, upward facing dog, breathing in. Downward facing dog, breathing out. Bring your big toes to touch and a little forward. Lift up high onto your tiptoes, bend your knees, look forward, hop between your hands. Lengthen your spine. Exhale, forward fold. Heel toe your feet to about hips width distance apart. That's about 2 fists in between the arches of your feet, more or less. Take your middle and index fingers, the one you make a peace sign with. Hook them in between your first and second toe and then around your big toe. Lengthen your spine. Again, if you have tight hamstrings, you can bend your knees as much as you want. Exhale, fold down. So even though my knees are bent, I can still feel opening in the backs of my legs because I'm not sitting back behind me, but I'm pressing down into my feet and lifting my hips up to the ceiling. If your knees are bent, see that your knees are tracking directly over your ankles as opposed to knocking into one another. So use your outer hip muscles. Re-extend your spine in your inhale. Release your toes, bring your big toes to touch, heel toe them in. Bend your knees, sit your hips back for chair pose. Tadasana, arms down by your side. Bend your knees, sit your hips back again for chair. Shift more weight into your right foot. Cross your left ankle over your right knee. Again, your right hip is going to want to dip out to the side, so do your best to wrap your outer right hip back to the wall behind you. Try to get as level as you can with your hips. Sit as far back as you can. Press down into your right foot, pick your left ankle up. Step back for a high lunge. Take your right hand to the top of your right thigh. Press down, lean halfway forward. Exhale, turn and twist, hooking your left elbow placing your left elbow on top or hooking it to the outside of your right knee. When you feel okay, you can prayer your hands. Squish that gummy bear down with your right big toenail and your left big toenail. Feel the turn happening in your upper back as opposed to your arms. Look down to the floor. Place both hands around your right foot, straighten out through your right leg, turn all 10 toes to face the left side of your mat. Lengthen out through your spine. Take a brief forward fold in between your wide legs. Seal the outer edges of your feet down to your mat. Keep lifting your hips up to the ceiling. Walk your hands back out underneath your shoulders, so you're in a long spine. Tense your right fingertips directly underneath your right chest. Lift your left arm out and up into a twist. Wrap your hand around an imaginary pole up above you. Pull yourself upright in your twist. Unwind back to center. Turn your thumbs down to the floor. Sweep your arms back behind you. And you're going to grab opposite elbows, or you're going to find a reverse prayer. To show that, I want to really seal the heels of my hands to touch so that I have a connection and that my arms don't fall forward. So I really want to do a lot of work to open up the sides of my chest to my arms. If your heels of your hands don't quite touch, grab opposite elbows. With an open chest, stay for a second. You're going to turn your left toes slightly in like you're about to do a warrior one. You're going to pivot into your legs, turn your right toes out. You might need to heel toe your left foot or step your left foot a little bit wider so your legs are on each of their own railway or subway tracks. With both legs strong and long, take a breath in. So you exhale, pull your outer right hip back to the wall behind you. Lift your left hip up as you extend the sides of your waist forward. With opposite elbows or with the reverse prayer, you might not come down as far as you may usually come down in pyramid pose, and that's okay. Use your legs to help you keep lifted. Press down into your right big toe. Guide your right hip back. Press down into your left outer edge of your foot. Soften your left hip crease a little down. Soften your heel of your hands down your back. Release your opposite elbows. Tee your arms out to your sides. Get as long as you can. And we're going to airplane it out. So you're going to turn, keep your arms teed. Turn your waist over to your right leg. Maybe grab your block for Parivrtta Trikonasana, revolve triangle. So your left hand can come onto a block to the inside of your left foot or to the outside of your left foot, depending on how much space you have. Keep your legs strong, just like you did in pyramid pose. Wrap your outer right hip back instead of letting it dip out to the side. Take one more breath in. Whew. And exhale, release yourself back down. Move your block aside, peel your back heel up, bend your right knee, step forward. Heel toe your feet a little wider than maybe hips width, as wide as your neck, and just hang down. Whew. Heel toe your feet back to touch. Bend your knees, round all the way up to stand. I said feet to touch, my feet aren't touching. Okay. If they're not touching, now bring them to touch. Bend your knees, sit your hips back to chair pose. Shift your weight over to your left leg. Cross your right ankle on top for ankle to knee chair. Again, left hip wants to swing out. Use your left hip muscles. Guide them back. Sit them to the wall behind you. This moving of the outer left hip in is key in pyramid pose, or in reverse triangle, revolve triangle. So just keep that in mind. Step your right foot back into a high lunge. Plant your left hand down, lean forward, strengthen your back leg, turn and twist. Either right elbow on top or right elbow to the outside of your right knee, your left knee. Prayer your hands. Look down to the floor. Frame your front foot with both hands, lengthen up your left leg, turn all 10 toes to face your right. Fold in between your legs just for a moment, hang your head. Re-extend the sides of your waist, hands underneath your shoulders. Tense your left fingertips directly underneath your chest. Lengthen out, tee your right arm out to your side, turn and twist to the wall, to the right side of the room. Or the back of the room. Wrap your hand around an imaginary pole, pull yourself upright in your twist, unwind to your arms. Dial your thumbs down, grab opposite elbows or reverse prayer. Wherever you are, you want to roll your shoulders up and back. Try to feel broad across your chest. Sandwich the heels of your hands together if you're out prayer. Turn your right toes slightly in like you're going to do Warrior One. Turn your whole left leg out. Walk your right foot slightly over to your right so that you have your two legs are on their own separate tracks. Turn your torso forward. Take a breath in, lengthen. As you exhale, hinge forward from your hips. Even here, my left hip wants to reach out, so I'm going to try to do my best to wrap my left hip back, press into the left ball of my foot to lean. Release your hands down your back, tee your arms open to your side. Again, try to keep your left hip magnetizing into center. Push your right foot down firmly into your mat. Take a breath in, lengthen. As you exhale, airplane twist. Maybe grab your block, place it to the inside of your right foot, or left foot rather, or outside of your left foot. I'm going to do inside for the side. So I can really try to wrap my outer left hip back, magnetizing into center, and lift my right hip up, pressing my right foot to the floor. Lower your left hand down. Move your block aside if you have it. Bend your left knee, peel your back foot up. This time step backwards into a downward dog. Child's pose or flow through your last plank and chaturanga for today. Or maybe not today, but for this class. Lower your knees down to your mat. If you're in child's pose, you can stay there. We'll meet you there. Come onto your hands and your knees. Walk your knees slightly forward. Cross your ankles, roll back behind them to sit. Grab one of your blocks. Come to lie down. With your feet planted to the ground and your knees pointed up to the ceiling, walk your feet back until your middle fingers can touch the backs of your heels. Press down into your feet, lift your hips, slide your block underneath your sacrum for a supported bridge. Your sacrum is, I like to say, it's in between the tops of your jean pockets and the bottom of your belt loop buckles if you're wearing mid-rise jeans. So that's roughly the area. So it's not in the middle of your back where you feel like you're straining to lift up. You can stay here supported on your block. If you want to we'll do one active back bend. So if you want to take an active back bend, come with me. If you want to stay situated on your block, just hang out. I'm going to lift my hips up, slide my block out, and lower my hips to the floor. Roll my shoulders underneath, press into my feet, press into my shoulders, lift my hips up, interlace my hands underneath me, walk my shoulders underneath me even more, press down into my arms, press down into my feet to lift my hips. When you're ready to come down, unlace your hands, lower your hips back down to the floor. Walk your feet as wide as your mat. Knock your knees to touch. Just like we did in the beginning of class, you can take your hands to the tops of your thighs and push away, tractioning out your low back. Maybe do a little bit of a shimmy. Release your hands if you're pressing. Walk your feet back underneath you and then hug your knees into your chest. You take a full happy baby, bringing your arms to the insides of your legs, wrapping them around to grab your outer ankles, shins, or feet. Move side to side if you feels good. You can hang out in happy baby as long as you like. The next stop will be Shavasana. I'm going to hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice hug before extending your arms and your legs out. If your blocks are nearby, just push them out to the side.
just let everything go. You need to deepen your breath. Make small movements with your body. And stretch your arms up alongside your ears. Reach away, opposite directions. Bend your knees. Hug your knees into your chest. Roll over to your right side. Use your hands. Press yourself upright to sit. Just take a nice full breath in. And exhale, breathe out. And slowly open your eyes once again. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Again, you can always feel free to message me with any questions or feedback. And I hope to see you again soon, or not see you again, maybe, or virtually join me again. Till next time.